If God exists, why is the universe designed inefficiently? Hello and welcome to our video series on the existence of God, where we explore questions and topics related to God's existence and also analyze arguments for and against the existence of God. In today's segment, we're going to respond to an argument against God's existence from the existence of an inefficient or poorly designed universe. The reasoning goes something like this. Premise 1. An all-powerful, all-knowing, and perfectly good God would create optimally designed organisms and systems. Premise 2. Many organisms or systems display inefficient or defective features. And the conclusion? Therefore, either God did not create them, or He is not all-knowing, all-powerful, and all-good. In essence, the argument states that if creation contains flaws, then design cannot explain our existence. Now, this is often used to counter the traditional design argument for God's existence, which claims, as we have already discussed in episode 3 of this video series, that the universe is too finely tuned to be the product of physical necessity or chance, and therefore must have been designed by God. Biologist Francisco Ayala illustrates this objection with examples. Let's take a look at a couple of them. Firstly, the human jaw often lacks enough room for teeth, causing dental problems. And secondly, the human eye has a blind spot due to its structure, defects that squids and octopuses don't share. Now, in connection to the human jaw, Francisco Ayala writes, and I quote, "Consider the human jaw. Because we have too many teeth for the jaw's size, wisdom teeth need to be removed, and orthodontists make a decent living straightening the others. Would we want to blame God for this blunder? A human engineer would have done better." End quote. And then regarding the human eye, this is what Francisco Ayala writes, and I quote, "One difficulty with attributing the design of organisms to the Creator is that imperfections and defects pervade the living world. In the human eye, for example, the visual nerve fibers in the eye converge on an area of the retina to form the optic nerve and thus create a blind spot. Squids and octopuses do not have this defect. Defective design would seem incompatible with an omnipotent, intelligent designer." End quote. Now, according to Francisco Ayala, such flaws are inconsistent with an intelligent, perfect designer. The question then is, do imperfections in nature rule out a designer? I don't think so. Let's look at some reasons as to why that's the case. Firstly, design still implies a designer even if flawed or inefficient. For instance, a poorly made car or a cruel torture device still requires a creator and a designer. Confusing moral or practical quality with the fact of design is a mistake. Secondly, what looks inefficient may turn out to be purposeful. For instance, junk DNA was once dismissed as useless, but researchers are now uncovering important functions for it. Thirdly, trade-offs in design are unavoidable. Just as engineers must balance speed and size in a car, nature involves limits. Strengthening predators weakens prey, and vice versa. In his book, The Design Revolution, William Dembski notes that these limits actually make life dynamic and meaningful. He writes, and I quote, "Our view of design is shaped too much by sports competitions. We always want to go faster, higher, longer, and stronger. But do we really want to go faster, higher, longer, and stronger without limit? Of course not. It is precisely the limits on functionalities that make the game of life interesting." End quote. Fourthly, not every biological feature is originally designed. Mutations and natural selection have shaped many traits over time. Thus, not every imperfection can be blamed on the original design. William Dembski explains, and I quote, "The first question that needs to be answered about any biological structure is whether it displays clear marks of intelligence. The design theorist is not committed to every biological structure being designed. Naturalistic mechanisms like mutation and selection do operate in natural history." End quote. Also, Dembski notes the irony of criticizing the design flaws of the human eye, and I quote, "There's also an irony here worth noting. The very visual system that is supposed to be so poorly designed and that no self-respecting designer would have constructed is nonetheless good enough to tell us that the eye is inferior." End quote. Fifthly, efficiency of creation does not equal efficiency of the Creator. There is no logical need to require God to create beings as efficient as Himself. If God alone is perfectly efficient, it is a property that belongs to God alone and cannot be applied to creation, which by definition is not God. Moreover, Christian theology teaches that sin has corrupted creation, leading to brokenness and inefficiency. Sixthly, inefficiency does not prove the Creator is inefficient. God may intentionally design something with limits. Also, efficiency depends on purpose, and only the Creator knows the ultimate purpose of each design. And finally, a perfect being need not create perfectly efficient things. Perfection in God does not obligate Him to produce flawless creations. Quote-unquote would does not equal quote-unquote must. I would like to conclude by saying that claims of inefficiency in nature do not disprove the existence of God or invalidate the idea of design. Instead, they merely reflect limitations in human understanding of purpose, function, and the effects of natural processes on creation. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and enjoy content such as this, do not forget to subscribe to this channel and share it around. See you in the next episode, and God bless you.